Welcome to It's in the Details. My name is Damian Waith. Please remember to like, subscribe, rate, review, comment wherever you get the show. If you're enjoying the show, tell a friend to tell a friend. Today, the focus is on Julia Garner. Julia Garner, one of my favorite actresses of the time, and someone I've really enjoyed over the last 10 years or so. I think I really first noticed her in The Americans. Then I saw her in Waco, about Waco, Texas, and the cult down there. She was opposite Taylor Kitsch in that movie. She's in another movie named The Assistant, which I have not yet seen, but I want to see purely on the basis of it's her movie. She's the star. Today we're really digging into Ozark, but first we're going to start with Inventing Anna. Inventing Anna is another one of these movies and series that Netflix is pumping out about these people that are trying to swindle other folks out of their money. I personally am not very much drawn to these swindler type of projects. I'm not. At least that's what I thought. Because you've heard me talk about Elizabeth Holmes and her little blood machine contraption and how she got all those money out of all those investors. I don't know that there was a lot of ill will there, but I can't get enough of it. Tinder Swindler, not interested. Probably never going to watch it. Inventing Anna, Julia Garner. Okay, so we're here. Okay, we're here. And how do I feel about Inventing Anna? Well, I know the public, and I know I'm late to it, but the public seemed to have been very excited about this series. I would imagine that was a lot on the backs of the social media presence that the character Anna Delvey, or Anna Sorokin, played on social media. Very popular. I had not known about her until all the drama and intrigue came about with this project. But y'all seem to be very excited about it. Every time I went to go press play, it was not happening. Finally, I made it happen. Did I mention I love Julia Garner? I really enjoy Julia Garner. This series I'm not sure. I'll start here. I found it to be ambient viewing. I found it to be something I could put on and just kind of listen to and kind of look up when there was something I really needed to look up for. So I don't want to give too much shade to the actors. Listen, Julia Garner, love her, as I've mentioned. Anna Schlumsky. I have loved Anna since I watched her opposite Macaulay Culkin in My Girl, okay? Since then. And then I feel like either she took a break or I took a break from her, and then I didn't see her in anything again or remember seeing her in anything again until Veep, and she was phenomenal in Veep. And now she's here, and it's called Inventing Anna, and Julia Garner's on all the posters. But really, this, Anna's the catchy one. She's the one that's going to pull people to the screens. But this is as much about Anna's character, Vivian Kent, in the show. It's based on a writer of a different name. But it's really about the two of them. Like, they're the two stars. And even Anna Schlumsky, I think she kind of carries the story even more than Julia Garner's Anna Delvey does. And I hope you're not getting confused by all the Annas, but I think you'll be able to hang in. Anna Delvey arrives in New York's socialite scene and takes off like a rocket. People cannot get enough of her. They see that she's throwing money around, they see that she fits in, and they kind of just let her fit in. And then the socialite scene in New York embraces her. That's the gist of the series. A 7, 6.5, 7. Like, I don't hate it, but I didn't love it. This is a Shonda Rhimes vehicle. Shonda Rhimes, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, a bunch of other things like that. And I think my issues with the show start with how it looks, how it sounds, the details, and it feels very Shonda. And usually I'm here for Shonda. I love How to Get Away with Murder. I have not yet started Scandal. So that's bad on me. I should start Scandal at some point. But there are other Shonda pictures and projects that I enjoy. But this one feels derivative. It feels like I've seen it before. Not the story, but how it's done. It feels like I've seen it before, and it feels like it's not as good as the stuff I've seen before. You know what? Like, that's where I am with that. I found Julia Garner's portrayal to be fine. The thing I love about her is, now that I've seen her in 3, 4, 5 different things, this is a real actress, right? Like, she goes through a full transformation with each character she gives you. She's never the same thing. She looks the same. She never goes through a real physical transformation. They did some stuff with her hair and glasses in this movie, or this series, sorry. But it's always a completely different character, which is enjoyable, and it shows her chops, right? For this series, Anna Delvey has got ties to Germany. She's got ties to Russia. She's a socialite. So Julia created an accent. And you can look it up if you're interested, but I believe it was on Jimmy Fallon where she went through some of the process of how she created this very, very, very unique accent for Anna Delvey. I don't know how close it is to Anna Delvey's actual accent, but it doesn't really matter because it was Julia's to give us, and she did. And it's interesting. It's a little bit weird. It drops in and out, and I think that it was all by design, right? But it's interesting. But it, again, as I say, full transformation for Julia every time she shows up on your screen. What else is there about this show? Well, let's see. The relationships on this show. The relationships are very interesting. The Vivian Kent character is married to a very nice gentleman who's kind of just in and out, doesn't say a lot of things throughout the series. And for the first 4 episodes, I believe, you've got her really, she's really beating him up. Like, she's not pulling any punches with this man. I'm doing this. I'm very focused on my career. There's background to it, but like, I'm very focused on my career. I'm very focused on this story. And we're painting this room and we're doing these things, but we got this free wall, and this free wall is going to be command center for all of my pictures and research for this story I'm getting ready to do on this Anna Delvey. And he just goes along with it. She's also pregnant at the time. Did I mention? I don't think I mentioned she's also pregnant at the time. So he's going along with it. And she's giving it to him. She's really, I'm doing this, and can you support me here? And just understand I need to chase down this story, and fine, right? Fine. She's not very nice to him in those first 4 episodes. Then episode 5, he gives it back to her. Right? He gives it back to her good. And I thought, oh, okay. So this is their relationship. They cut jokes on each other all the time, right? All the time they're cutting jokes on each other. But we only get it in episode 5. So they've built this arc for their relationship where she seems to be domineering over him. I'm not sure that's the right word, but she's cutting him all the time. And he finally gives it back. And I feel like if they gave that to us, that push-pull that they have, you could tell that it's a much more balanced relationship. You know what I mean? And I think it would have been funnier if they were cracking jokes on each other the entire time instead of just giving it to us in episode 5. And I think there might have been one other in this 9-episode series, but it was odd to me. It was odd to me. Then you've got the relationship between the lawyer and his wife, and they seem to be pretty good too, but once it gets down to it, once they're in court, in the court case, and this seems to have been going on for quite some time, the building of this case and moving through that stuff seems to have been going for a very long time. Anna is a very demanding client, as she is a person, it seems, to all of her friends and acquaintances. And Vivian Kent character, the journalist, she's also very enraptured by chasing down this story. So they're both putting a lot of pressure on their spouses. His wife tells him right before the jury is going to be announcing their verdicts that we got a vacation planned and we got to go on this vacation. And he says, I'm in court on this case I've been working on this whole time. Can I meet you there? Like, I can't leave the largest case of my life to go on vacation right now. And she will not have it. She's upset. Real big mad. She's big mad. And I mean, your husband's a lawyer, you know, like this is, I'm not saying that this is part of the true story. I'm sure he was feeling some pressure from his wife in real life. I don't know if it was this level pressure, but it's unfeasible to imagine that a spouse of a lawyer who is in trial is going to tell that spouse, you got to leave your job so we can go on vacation right now. It's just not possible. And I don't know why it was included in this series. There were so many things like that where you're like, people don't act like this. This is not close to being real. And it's not a documentary. I'm not a crazy person, right? It's not a documentary. It doesn't have to be 100% real, but it pulls me out. It pulls me out of the show when you're doing things that are unreasonable. Back to the journalist, Vivian Kent. Pregnant. Like I said, pregnant. Show's been going on for episodes. Timeline has been going on and on and on. She's chasing down some leads, and the husband goes, listen, man, you're about to pop. We just had to go to the hospital. You're about to pop. And she's like, I have to get this done before this baby gets here. And I know that when the baby's here, I can tell this baby that your mom did everything she wanted to do, et cetera, et cetera. Can you just support me on this? This man has been supporting you on this for months already. Months. Now, I don't know if maybe in the storyboards this was out of place and they just jammed it in editing. I'm not sure, but these things kept dragging me out of a show I was barely in. And they're hitting us with this stuff. It was just hard to stay in the show. Let me get to some of the fun stuff. There's a character named Neff. Neff is friends with Anna Delvey, and she's very loyal. She went through some of the ups and downs that some of the other friends went through with Anna, and including having to pay some money out of her pocket in some places she didn't think she was going to have to pay. Got her money back, but she is loyal to the ends with Anna. Loyal. And that was interesting to see how loyal she stayed to this friend who she really, really believed in. Even when there was every opportunity not to, she stuck by her. And I really enjoyed that. I did. I don't know that I agree with her. I don't know that I could have done the same things given those circumstances. There's a lot of stuff I can stand by my friends through. I don't know if a brand new friend would have had my loyalty the same way that Neff did. But Neff was a real cool character. She was a really cool character. I enjoyed her. I enjoyed her man. And her man, again with these relationships in these Shonda Rhimes vehicles, again with these relationships, her and her man, they don't pull any blows either. Listen, you're screwing up. You're better than this. Go be better. Well, you're screwing up. Or you're doing great. They were just all over each other all the time. And it felt like constructive criticism that they were giving each other. They were opening each other's eyes from time to time as to some of their shortcomings. And even when they didn't do it constructively, just, you hurt my feelings, I'm going to hurt your feelings. That second person, the person receiving the vitriol, managed to stay calm, not bite back, and just say, listen, this ain't about me. This is about you right now, okay? This is what you need to do. And that was kind of refreshing. Some of those things could have turned into yelling matches and someone storming out of the apartment or sleeping on the couch, and they did not get there, which was wonderful to see. So it was a complex group of characters that they had in this show, and I think they developed most of them pretty well. Some other fun in this show. It's a shady show. It's a real shady show. And I think that kind of goes along with that territory, or at least they want you to think it goes along with this territory of the ultra rich, and this is just how they talk to people. For instance, Anna looked at the journalist a couple times when she showed up visiting her in jail. These are no spoilers. Showed up visiting her in jail and said, wow, you look fat. To the pregnant journalist. Also, did not waste any time talking about what this lady was wearing. Just no hesitation. Just talking about what you're wearing all the time. And then you got Neff looking at somebody at one point saying, hey, I can get you an appointment with this hairstylist I know. And the person wasn't even thinking about getting their hair done. Just shady bits all over the time. I said bits. Shady bits all over the place. It was a lot of fun. I don't really roll in circles where we're just cutting people up all the time for no reason. I also have to say something that really bothered me, really, really bothered me about this is Vivian Kent is pregnant. She's focused and she's pregnant. She's going to get the job done. She's trying to redeem her reputation and she wants to get this job done. She's also pregnant, and not like newly pregnant. She's pregnant when we start this show. Like, she's tell friends and family pregnant. She's showing, maybe wearing maternity pants, pregnant, okay? She's interviewing all sorts of sources. And we get all these different scenes where this lady is essentially sitting on someone's couch, eating popcorn, just giggling away at all of the details she's getting to this extravagant con that Anna Delvey has been partaking in. And we don't see her write a word. We don't see her writing anything but notes. She's got an article to write, and we're not seeing her write any of it. Then all of a sudden, an editor reminds her of the timeline, and she has to get rushed to the hospital. They ask some questions. They find out she hasn't written a lick. And as a fellow procrastinator, okay, I've waited far too long to start many a project. I don't get this. Just another just another piece of this series that feels unreasonable. This lady cannot be that bad a procrastinator that she would not start this with the ticking going on inside of her belly. Now, it's one thing to say, someone could say, well, this lady is so pregnant, she shouldn't even be working. I'm not one of those people. I used to work in a gym. I've seen pregnant ladies bust an ass in the gym 7-8 months. I've seen it, okay? I thought, wow, that's strange. And then I did some research, and this is what the women are resilient like you can't believe, okay? So the fact that this lady was working while pregnant, not my concern. The fact that she was pregnant, knowing that baby's coming, and she refused, at least for this depiction in this series, she refused to start writing the article, seems wild. It's as if, put it this way, you get kidnapped. You're a hostage. Someone ties your feet to the train tracks. For whatever reason, they left your hands free and they gave you a phone. And instead of untying yourself or calling for help, you're on your phone playing Wordle. Hey man, you got stuff to do. You know what I mean? Lady, you got stuff to do. Do some of the stuff and get yourself out of this trouble, okay? But no, she just hanging around, getting more details, doing more research, and instead of writing, now you water bus in the office, and you got to figure out how to get this story done and have this baby. It's a strange series, man. It's strange. I didn't hate it. I did not love it. Julia Garner's okay in it. If you haven't seen it, see if you can get through a few episodes. Julia Garner also plays one of my favorite characters I've ever seen in Ruth Langmore in Ozark. I haven't talked about Ozark yet on my show. I wasn't really sure how to fit it in just yet. I wasn't really sure. Now, as I record, today is the 20th, 4/20. And coming out April 29th is the final part of the final season of Ozark. It is one of the saddest and most joyous times in my entertainment watching life. I've loved this show. In many ways, on the back of Julia Garner's portrayal of Ruth Langmore, I also really, really, really love Jason Bateman. I've done episodes on Jason Bateman stuff before. I really like Jason Bateman, and he is phenomenal as Marty Byrd in Ozark. But Ruth Langmore is unlike anything I've ever seen. And for the people out there, if you are an Ozark fan and you've seen any character, even remotely close to Ruth Langmore in something else, please get in the comments and contact me as to what the names of those shows or movies are, because I gotta watch them. Ozark is this, let's see, how could I describe it? If I told you you could watch a show as gritty as Narcos, but primarily from the perspective of an accountant, what would you say to me? Because I would say, give it to me. Give it to me quickly, because I'm interested, right? It's been a whirlwind journey. I've watched almost every episode 4 or 5 times. Every time a new season comes out, I go back and watch from the beginning. I just can't help myself. It's a quirky little show, shot in a great way. Even if you're not the type of person to really care about camera angles and zoom ins and zoom outs and tones of the color, try to pay attention to some of it. The score and the music they choose. There's an episode in season 2 where they prominently play 3 Biggie songs, 3 Notorious B.I.G. songs, and end the show with a Frank Sinatra song. Okay? I don't know any other shows doing that. Jason Bateman, who has had Radiohead on his podcast called Smart List with Sean Hayes and Will Arnett. 2 or 3 episodes have Radiohead songs in them. You know I'm a Radiohead fan. If you're a Radiohead fan too, you could go for the Radiohead. The first episode ends with a Radiohead song. Speaking of Will Arnett, if you're an Arrested Development fan like I am, or an Ozark fan, you seeing Ozark, I'm wondering if you guys were also curious why Marty's partner at the beginning of the show was not Will Arnett. Like, the only way that guy was not Will Arnett, given Jason Bateman's fingerprints are all over the show. If that dude is not Will Arnett, then I had to assume that they were saving Will Arnett for another character somewhere else in the show. And this is silly of me because I'm sure we would have already heard about it, but I'm thinking maybe Will Arnett's going to make an appearance in this part 2 of the final season coming out April 29th. I'm hoping. My hope doesn't make any sense, but I'm hoping somehow we get a Will Arnett appearance in Ozark. They're like best friends in real life. How is your man not in this show? I don't get it. The show also carries so many strong female characters. They're not all the nicest, but there's not a lot of nice people on the show, right? None of the men are nice, okay? But these women, when I say strong, I mean grimy. They do what they need to do to get the job they need to do done, all of them. And many of them are terrifying. I'm not going to lie to you. Really scary ladies. One lady, this is a minor spoiler, her introduction to us is serving somebody lemonade and death. That's her introduction. This is how you meet this lady. Here's some lemonade and death. Strong. And they're all fighters. They're all resilient. Wendy Byrd, Jason Bateman's wife in the show, is one of the gaslighters I've ever seen in my whole life. If this is one of those old-timey jokes, but if you had pictures in the dictionary, Wendy Byrd's face would be next to gaslighting because she is a phenomenal liar. There's never been a liar like this on television before. It's impossible. Never. There's never been a liar like this on television. And she has to go through some very difficult things as we move through this show. Another strong character, female character, is the daughter, Charlotte Byrd. Now, Charlotte Byrd, I propose to you, is maybe the largest villain on the show through the first 3 seasons. Why do I call a teenage girl the biggest villain? Well, she causes the most drama and disturbance to anything her family is trying to get done throughout those first 3 seasons. She's the worst. She is the worst. And this is no shade to the actress. I believe The portrayal she's giving us is exactly what she is supposed to give us, right? Exactly what it is. That does not mean you dislike her any less. And I've done some digging on the internet. It seems the people feel the same way I do, except I'm a smart person. I know that the actress playing Charlotte Byrd is not Charlotte Byrd. Charlotte Byrd is fictional. It seems the people have chased this poor young lady off the internet because of her character, which I think is heinous. But, not the but you think it is, but, you know when you watch bloopers, you watch a movie, say The Hangover, say things of that nature, you get to the end of the show and they're running through the credits and they're showing you all the bloopers, and someone cuts a joke, the joke is so hilarious, it makes the person they're acting with laugh, that breaks the scene, they can't use that footage, and blooper, right? And then when that's done, everybody's high-fiving, that was amazing, you did a great job, you're so hilarious, all of that stuff, right? Do you think that any of the outtakes for Ozark with Charlotte Byrd in it, when she's done her scene, people are high-fiving her talking about, you were really a little shithead kid. That was great. I mean, really, really unlikable. Nobody is going to question whether or not they're supposed to like your character in this show. It's impossible. No, we don't like it. We hate the character so much, and that's how we wrote it, and that's how you acted it. Everybody applause. Like, you know what I mean? Because she's really almost detestable. It's like, we're in danger. You know what I mean? We're in danger as a family. And you keep undermining us at every turn. Every turn, you're doing something to break what we're trying to get done down. Every turn. There's a lot of stuff I want to say about it, but I don't want to spoil too much. Just know when you're watching Charlotte, she's breaking something. She's breaking something. All of that said, Ruth Langmore is by far my favorite of all of the strong women in the show. She is a 93-pound ball of blonde fury and ambition wrapped up in an accent you can't believe, a vocabulary unlike anyone else. Fantastic. Some of the greatest lines you'll ever hear on TV. Out of context, they're a little bit crazy. But she told somebody, while flirting, I prefer French toast sticks. I had never heard the term French toast sticks in my whole life until this show. Intuitively, I know what she's talking about. Also, sound delicious. But I'd never heard of it before. And it was and every line delivered like it's her only line for the day. What happens when you have someone who has been told there are no small parts, only small actors? And then that person takes that idea of give the most to whatever you've been given. Give the most to that opportunity. And they look at that and they do that with every opportunity they have on screen. She's one of the stars of the show, but she acts and delivers every line like it's the last time she's going to get to act. You can feel that coming through the screen. It's fantastic. She's ambitious. She knows she's smart. She also knows there's still so much for her to learn, which is a breath of fresh air, really, both in real life and on film. It's just not something you get where you know that this person understands their powers, but understands that they're not at their full powers yet, and they're going to figure out how to get there, right? She can get a lot more done than most people, but she knows there are mentors available to her, and she needs to use what they can supply her with. But at the same time, we have this character, Ruth Langmore, who is also soft and passionate and caring and loving. And we get to watch her grow and develop throughout all of these seasons, from a child doing petty crimes to a grown woman who's doing some serious crimes. But in between there, just woven into the fabric of this story is the love that she has for her family, the love that she has for the people that care for her, and also this fierce loyalty that she gives to her people, but also expects from her people. I'm not going to tell you when, but if you've watched, you know, they introduce a big mob boss. They introduce a big mob boss later in the series. And he's a particularly scary individual. Really, he's a real bad dude, right? But forget that for a second. What's interesting to me is we get this man on screen 3 minutes, 4 minutes, full by the time I make this observation. He does things like slight nods or a raise of an eyebrow to one of his colleagues, which, another gangster, but they're colleagues nonetheless. They work together. You know what I'm saying. And he would just a little head nod, a twitch of the shoulder, you know, a little raised eyebrow, and these men go to action. They move, they leave the room, they drag somebody out of a room, they go pick somebody up. He doesn't even need words to get these men to move. And I found that really interesting because, again, we've only seen him on screen for 3 or 4 minutes. But that shorthand between him and his colleagues, it really, for me, develops the character and the other characters around him. It really shows us the time they've spent together. They could have been working together for years or decades, or he rules with an iron fist, but these people have learned the lessons they needed to learn to read his gestures and how he feels just by slight ticks that he's giving them. It's a phenomenal show. Like, it's one of the best shows that has ever been created. And it's partially the reason why, even though Netflix continues to raise their prices, I say, personally, they could get up to $20 a month, and I'm not batting an eye. Not because I'm balling, but the products they're making are so great, much like Ozark. But they do a lot of really fun, nerdy, like TV, movie stuff that I really enjoy. Like, there's one scene where we have a flashback, and they, like I mentioned the music earlier, they really play with the score and just the ambient sounds that are going on screen. Sometimes they'll drop out the music and we're just left with the scene. In this flashback I'm thinking about, we're following a young Marty Byrd, and he is getting getting a drink out of a vending machine. And they've amped up the ambient sound where you can hear the coin drop into the vending machine. You can hear it slide down. You really hear him press the buttons. He selects a Coke. You can feel that Coke drop to the bottom of the machine and get his hand into the machine to get that Coke out. And maybe it's nostalgia for me, who has not purchased a beverage out of a vending machine in, I don't know, years. But all of those sounds conjure up all of these memories, and you know exactly how all of this stuff feels and sounds if you were standing right there. And they do things like that in the show all of the time. So you can go to this show for many reasons. The characters are great, the writing's great, the storyline's great, the visuals in the Ozarks are on another level. The drone footage. Everybody's using drone footage now in their pictures, but the things that they capture in this show with the drone footage, it's just exquisite. And then you've also got the way they shoot things, the sounds that they feed you. I love Ozark. If you haven't already started, get to it. April 29th is coming, and I'm sure the spoilers are coming online too. So get to it. With that, thank you very much for joining me again on It's in the Details. As always, please remember to like, subscribe, rate, review, comment wherever you get the show. See y'all in a week. Take care. Peace.